baby girls? We're live. How are you? I am Famine from Famine Studios. How's everybody doing? Let's see. Oh, we got people in the chats already. All right. All right. Hello, hello. Yes, jab along. This Hulk here, excuse me, Rocket, is my Gamorrean Hulk. And my thought was that the cosmic waves traveled through the universe and turned one of the smarter Gamorreans into a Hulk. So, yeah. And he's got some custom battle armor, coloring, custom boots, armor, part of Thor's cape. I had fun with him. Meaning of life, yeah, we did cover that. You'll have to excuse the yawns. I was in a puppy pile, and I was elbow deep in small dogs, and they go mining for sleepiness under the blankets, and then they bring it all up, and it's on their fur. So as I was playing with them, made me sleepy, and I fell asleep for a few minutes. So. All right. Ian, what's going on? Bjorn, hello. And Red's here. All right. So today I figured we would talk about lore in making, work on some stuff. What up, Too Sweet? There are a couple of food dogs over here. I'll bring those over in just a second. Again, this yawning will stop. I apologize. It will stop. Go ahead, Cal. You can go up there, buddy. What's going on, bud? Good boy. Yes, so I got these food dogs to go on either side of something. Probably going to be a restaurant, but this one actually had dry brushing on it in the store and like weathering around the cracks. This one did not. They just sent that fucker down the line. But that's all cool. These will both get painted up the way I want them to. But yeah, I did some straightening up and some organizing today. Yeah, I'll probably pick up a few nights. Just have the bodies and the parts. It's really cool armor. What up, Audi? Let's fire up the hot glue gun. Like I said, I'll bring you guys over here. So I did some organizing, just kind of cleaned up some stuff. None of this is permanent, the placements, because that's where our bar is going to go when we work on that again. But I figured just for setup there. And yeah, just did a little bit of organizing, cleaning, getting things stationed the way I want them. Get the tunes going here. What are you doing, silly dogs? There we go. So we won't keep that awful. You like my Cloverfield shirt, by the way? Yeah, that's what's up. Am I going to paint in this shirt? Yes. Am I going to regret it? Also, yes. What's up, J Diorama? Alright, so we're I said, probably going to work on the dinosaur. The yawns will stop. Got this guy here. I have two of this guy, actually. And I've been wanting to, and it's an irritator. That's the species name. I wanted to turn him into, like, sort of, more of a crocodilian looking dude. Something closer to a crocodile instead of this. We could expand on this colorway and make him look cooler, but first thing I want to do is get these batteries out of here. Oh, no, they're there. That's not the one. I keep a mini set of screwdrivers for such occasions. But yeah, I don't want the batteries in there. I don't want this thing making noise. Batteries leak. They make acid all over the place. You guys know. You go into the flea market, yard sale or something, you find an old toy, you get excited and it doesn't make noise. You're like, oh, I'll just check the batteries. And then it turns out like the batteries were from 1892. It was like the first battery they ever built. And yeah, it leaked acid inside and ruined the electronics. And you gotta get the wire brush out and you gotta scrub it out. And then you gotta use vinegar and baking soda and clean it. And then you gotta hope that that works. And sometimes then you wind up reconnecting the leads. And next thing you know, you got the toolkit out and the soldering iron, and Doc Brown wants you to come over because he fell and hit his head in the shower and he had an idea about lightning, and then you're working on your flux capacitor. Next thing you know, it's no longer the double tree mall, it's the single tree. It's a whole thing. So, you know, we don't need the batteries in there. But I will keep these button cell batteries because they're perfectly fine batteries, and I'll use them, I don't know, on a fucking vibrator or something. I don't know. Alright. So, this guy's an irritator. It's a species name. He looks weird. He looks rad. And I want to give him a cool fucking paint job. So, we're going to get some more darker paint on him. Probably go from here down with the darker paint to match that. And then we'll just work our way through and figure out what's going on. But I want to build a little lore off of the paint job that we give him. Do a little bit of talking about like how I come to those conclusions when I do that stuff, how I make up my mind personally as to what things are going to be. And also, I don't know, I'll try and give you guys a couple of ideas on how to avoid like paint rub and stuff like this. So we're not even going to worry too when we get down here with the black paint. We're not going to worry about changing the color with this. That's a great base color. It's not a black. I'd say it's closer to it like a deep, dark brown. So yeah, let's get cooking. Cannot forget to make that phone call tomorrow. I'm thinking about what I need in front of myself right now because I had something set aside. I can't remember where I put it, but we'll work with this for now. If you're new to the channel, I am Famine from Famine Studios. I have some saddles. I have a couple of ideas. I don't know if he's going to be I mean, it could be a rideable beast. I don't know. We'll have to see when we get there. No rockets, though. I don't think he needs rockets. If anything, I feel like this guy, while he does look crocodilian, maybe he lives amongst, you know, wrecked out vehicles and hulks and where there's a lot of weeds and vines and dried out plants and that type of stuff. So, like, you know, that's why he's down squat. He navigates through stuff and kind of moves like that. So it's mix up a little paint and get cooking here. I had a little thing I was going to use to mix the paint on, and I cannot for the life of me remember it. When I was cleaning, I put it somewhere, and I was like, hey, Famine, this is a great idea. You should certainly save this and use it in your live stream. And I was like, great, thanks, past me. And now I can't remember where it is. Or what it was. It was something. And also I need to get some paint on this too. I almost finished working on that background piece. So is anybody working on anything tonight as I go through this midlife crisis that I'm apparently having about paint? What you hear out there, Snowflake? You hear something? She's like, I was looking out there, but then you spoke. Fuck me up. Alright, I'll use this. It's all good. So we got a little brownish decay. No, save the brownish decay. The black. And this is War Painter's matte black. War Paints, I should say. Because I can. I'm not going to do any color matching, but it'll help bring it together. So I will use this brush here. Oh, there goes that. And you guys also, you can't tell like the work I'm doing in here, but I vacuumed in here today and I cleaned up some stuff, like put some stuff into packages and boxed up some stuff that's going to be going out to some patrons and some friends from the community. And I opened up the window today and it was nice and sunny. It was like 55 at the peak of the day. It was great. All right. So, got some poorly mixed paint. Close enough for government work. Let's go. So like I said, we're going to start right around here. Get some paint on this bad boy. So I could use a bigger brush, but there's some nooks and crannies I'm going to need to get in here too first. So I'm using this small brush. Keeps me up close and personal with the work. Allows me to get into places like this muscle crease there. And also I can go around where the jaw pivots and articulates. And I like the design of this guy because his jaw moves, but there's enough clearance between the action so that the jaw doesn't rub on the paint. So that's going to take paint real well. And it's got enough clearance down there too, so there's not going to be a lot of rub when we put paint down here. So I think that's cool. And that allows you to get the tip of that brush into that hinge and put some color down in there. So that'll add some differentiation. And then we'll get his neck waddle, which apparently looks the same as the things on there, almost like he's made to swim, or in this case, he's going to be kind of weaving his way through that weird jungly environment of dried vegetation, cables, and other things like that. You know. And I have to think, like, all right, well, if somebody's going to be using him as a mount or a beast of burden, why, aside from looking badass, you know, what purpose do they serve around gimmick? Why would he be around there, aside if not from being a beast of burden? Maybe he's not. Maybe he's, you know, maybe he's just a critter that wandered in. And so these are the things that I think of, either when I'm playing with my toys, because yes, I'm 38 goddamn years old and I play with my toys. Or when I'm painting things and getting ready to come up with stuff or post a story online. It's the type of shit that rattles around in my brain pan. So I like to know the why of what I'm doing, and it helps with the world building. And sometimes, a lot of the times I already have a story in mind of like why something exists or how it fits into the world or what purpose I need it to fill. But other times I'll just start doing, and as I do the work, or as I'm focused on the project and creating, the answers come to me. Which is it's kind of that going back to playing thing, and like letting your mind be a kid, letting yourself be a kid, letting your imagination go. I think that's a skill we practice a lot as world makers, toy customizers, or even just people who, like watching artists work, who follow along, or follow other people's projects. I follow creators that are master carpenters. Okay, I can barely, I could frame a building, but if you asked me to, say, manufacture a beautiful hope chest that someone would use for their granddaughter, or maybe their daughter or their sister or whatever, to give away on a wedding day or something like that, I couldn't. I couldn't sit and do that, but I love watching them take the time and creativity and build those things, and I can kind of let my imagination wander with that. And so, maybe you don't world build, maybe you just like the content of people making customs, or you like hearing me yammer. I don't know why you would, but I like to use my imagination, and I like to play. I highly recommend that. If you get toys, freaking play with them, man. That's what they're made for. So, like I said, I really like this guy's design, because again, I'm rocking his head back and forth, and the paint's not rubbing off because it doesn't touch. And I like that. Let's see, we've got some comments here. Dead man's in the shower while I'm live. Yeah. What's up, baby girl? Started with figures I like the most, came up with the story reasons why they would exist in the same storyline. Yeah, sometimes that's all it needs to be. And sometimes it doesn't even have to make sense, as long as it fits what you want, as long as it's, makes you happy, you're golden, right? You don't have to worry about, oh, I don't know, man, this is a Star Wars and this guy's Star Trek. Okay, well, maybe what is it? Somebody get an Enterprise. Maybe the Enterprise landed on this planet or went through a wormhole and wound up here. Maybe this is they're all at a truck stop. Or maybe it would be funny if you have an alien race of, green guys, and you have a little Captain Kirk figure and he's out there fighting the little green guys. Like, it doesn't need to be. It ain't rocket surgery. Just as long as you're happy. I remember being, as a kid, I would sit on the floor. I basically have like Fight Club with my action figures. And some of them would be like, oh, it looks like Colossus and Spider-Man and Darth Vader here are all in the same fighting team versus these guys. Now, why would Darth Vader be fighting with these dudes versus somebody else? Okay, well, here's this reason why. Or, oh shit, there's really no reason why Spider-Man can't fight Darth Vader, because, well, Darth Vader has the Force. Spider-Man has his Spidey sense and might be able to sense that Vader's about to swing his lightsaber, and so he would know to dodge. Those types of things. Let your imagination go. Like, we hold on to all this nerdy knowledge. We have all these fun thoughts and stories and things that we watch. Utilize them. Tell your tale. Use it in your work. Let it inspire you to build lore around that particular thing. Or, like, this is just a shot, we're talking about Star Trek here, and I'm not a very... Ant knows I'm not a Trekkie. I do like Star Trek on a superficial level. The Next Generation was my Trek. Picard was my captain. Let's say you had a bunch of stormtroopers and you painted them up all red and you wanted to have, like, a, an evil empirical version of Jean-Luc Picard, and he's got an army of red stormtroopers because they're done up like red shirts and they're cannon fodder. Like, all right, cool. Why not? There's your story. That's your reason that you painted your stormtroopers red, and now you have an army to go with your evil Jean-Luc Picard figure. Like, it doesn't have to be. It could be as complex or as superficial as you want it to be. You know, you could do a bunch of clones with like red, you know, red chest plates and say that that's he found a batch of clones and basically was able to, I don't know, use some Romulan technology to get them to fight for him. Again, not a Star Trek guy. Couldn't tell you if any of that shit made sense, but just for storytelling purposes and for funsies, that's what your stuff can be. You don't. It doesn't have to be canon. It doesn't have to be. Now, I know some people do like to have their stuff as all like, nope, this is my Star Wars stuff. It doesn't mix. This is my Playmobil Star Trek stuff. This doesn't mix with anything else. And if that's your jam, that's cool. That's just not for me. I like to commingle my stuff and tell stories and come up with reasons why things happen, why characters look certain ways. Sometimes I let the item rationalize that, and other times I let my imagination rationalize that. I'm waiting for like a 7-paragraph essay on why my Star Trek stuff is wrong. Nobody's perfect. Crossover Next Generation, Blake 7. Warp Factor 10, Mr. Frodo. Hell yeah. Making lore is fun. And that's one of those things that doesn't cost a freaking cent. That's to me, that's a fun part of lore making, is like world building, is when you're creating the lore, you ain't got to pay money for it. You can just sit there and imagine all day to your heart's content. You know, no one's going to stop you. No one can tell you you're wrong. It's yours. Like, that's your thing. I need to mix up a little more paint in there. And that was, in case anybody's playing at home, Burnt Umber. That's what Dino Milk. Yeah, I don't... Josh is... Guy's really trying to make that a thing. And you know what? Good for him. I mean, it's not for me. He's wrong, and he should be ashamed that the thought of dinosaur milk even coming out of his mouth, but... Like Wen said, not everybody's perfect. Or Ant said, not everybody's perfect, including Wenzilla. So. And his weird dinosaur milk. But I'll give that's credit where credit's due. Wenzilla puts a lot of thought into his stuff. So like with his dinosaur fuel, he explains that it was a gamma mining location. And if I get it wrong, Josh, I do apologize if you watch the replay. But, you know, it was a gamma mining facility. The dinosaurs eat the plants. The dinosaurs poop out the stuff. The poop gets turned into fuel. Gamma-powered fuel. That's well thought out, and it's simple. Well, that's actually a very good color match that I've done there. Good for me. Good for me. Doesn't need to match, but... Okay, he's got these weird legs here, so we're going to see... I may have to do a little bit of clever sanding and shading with some ink here, depending on how this leg rubs when it's dry, but we'll find out. Nothing to lose any sleep over right this second, especially since we're not sleeping. Okay, his legs are already painted, so we'll get this side of his leg. Get this paint on the speaker box here. Nice, nice, nice. It's a damn good color match, man. I'm proud of that. Paint, 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 paint. Okay, let's take a look at the chat. Timber. Start a toy photography magazine. Like a paper magazine? Or an online magazine? Hey man, Josh is Zilla's on that dino milk, man. He really wants to milk a dinosaur, and you know, just he can't milk my dinosaurs. That's what I'll say. Keep his hands off my milker. Can honestly say I've never thought about milking a dinosaur. Can honestly also say that's not a sentence I ever thought I'd say out loud. So, here we are. And we're getting that. Painting that belly. Now, I'm gonna do the arms and hands. It's also not milk. Yeah. Hey man. Do I look like RFK? I don't do raw dino milk. There's no dinosaur milking going on over here. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and paint that bottom jaw too. There we go. Just gonna stick my finger right in your mouth, Mr. Dinosaur. Now for the ball joints, that's where we're going to come back. I want to use that ink on there, that transparent acrylic ink. And I kind of wanted that to stain that. We'll also try, we may also try something else. I'm not sold on it yet, so just bear with me. But I want to put that on the joints because those will almost for sure rub on there. So I want to be able to make sure we get pretty good coverage and get some staying. What the fuck was that? Oh, we'll get some staying power out of the acrylic ink that we put on there. Acrylic ink. That'd be a good band name, Acrylic Ink. Now, it is kind of nice out, but I don't think it's nice enough for me to... Well, it might be. Considering blasting this with Mr. Hobby Super Clear right before we do our next coat of paint on this. But that remains to be seen. One day when the studio is actually back in an actual studio again, I'll be able to switch cameras and spray and then switch back, and you'll be able to see that whole process too. Okay. So, with the notion of him, like, living in, I don't know, more of a dump with overgrown, like, dried up plants and stuff, I'm thinking maybe some type of tiger, maybe not tiger stripey, but something almost like, you would almost think it was jungle, but it's not. Like, it's so subdued. Okay. Get a little of that off the brush here. So. Gonna get this paint on the elbow balls. Hoping this works out the way I want it to, honestly. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. We can always fix it. I mean, that barely touches, so that's good. I like how beefy the Irritator's arms are. Like, they're strong forearms. They're not like the T-Rex where they're, you know, smaller, and you could almost argue they're more ceremonial than anything. Which is not what Famine is saying. Famine is not saying that a Tyrannosaurus Rex's arms are strictly ceremonial and for display or anything. Because they're not. It's just saying a thing out loud. Christ, I can hear the dino nerds, you know, appearing out of the fucking woodwork now from Reddit. Actually, Famine. Like, I know. Almost went to college for this shit. I know. Do. Getting them fat little nubby fingies. I'll paint his nails with a straight black just to give them an extra coating of something solid, so I'm not worried about them right this second. So you see I've left that little strip of material in there that helps with the rotation and the up and down of his arms. That's there for that reason. These sculpts are really good on these. There's like cool pebbles and bits of scales that are really great for like dry brushing and picking out details on. That'll help make this guy look exciting and more crocodilian, like I said. Okay. And I did think too, if he had a saddle or he was a beast of burden, what would he be for? What would he be utilized for? Is he a combat mount? Is this something that a soldier or a mercenary would ride around on? Is this just some guy's loyal steed? How did they come together in their lives? These are the things that I would need to consider as I built that. Or, I may paint him, and then 2 or 3 weeks down the road, I may come across the figure, be working on a figure, and be like, God damn, that would be perfect for this, and put him on there. So, not everybody's entire lore needs to be nailed down by completion. Excuse me. It's just something that tends to happen with my very active imagination when I let it. And, also, pro tip, letting your imagination wander during the day helps you escape from the horrors of the world at large. So, let's try that out. Putting that out there. Okay. Sticky. I'm going to use this crappy brush, which has a hook tip, to get on that. Again, this is Golden Acrylic Ink High Flow Transparent. I'm just letting that saturate the brush. And that's going to be just like a base on there. So hopefully it'll stain that. And then as we articulate the dinosaur and play with the dinosaur, help with paint rub, help keep things looking nice and neat. Right, all right. Okay, so thinking like a junkyard dog. That's how he exists. He lives in a scrapyard and he's like a junkyard dog. He's got kind of like an uneasy agreement with the owner. Lets him live there. Every once in a while he throws a steak or, maybe a trespasser to him. Some dino feed. And the thing keeps the pests out, the womp rats, the squirrels and different things like that run inside. And that's why he patrols that scrapyard and lives inside of burned out vehicles and hulks of metal and piles of rubble and stuff that people want to come and buy that have been harvested out of the portal as things appear on Gimmick. So there we have. So we have a lore. We've established a lore, and now we're gonna paint this character, paint him, and bring him to life. Pick out some dry brushing, do some dry brushing, some pebbles. Pick out this sail, and yeah, we've got an established story. We've got a pretty good idea of what he's doing with his weird little dino life, so I'm happy on that. We're going to let this dry. I would blast it with the hairdryer, but I don't want to. So we're going to let that dry for a moment. I'm going to check in. Can't get over this shirt. So fucking good. One of my all-time favorite movies. My sibling Nikki, we went to New York City for, I want to say, Nikki's birthday. They had just seen Cloverfield, had never seen it before. Thank you. Had never seen Cloverfield before. We watched it a couple of days before. Then we went to New York City. We were actually a block outside of Times Square. And there was a power outage. We were at a pizza place. The light, the whole block. Nick, the movie. I said, what? He goes, Cloverfield, the movie with the monster. I'm like, this is not the goddamn Cloverfield monster coming to get you. Cracked me up. So I've got some shitty black craft paint here. I say shitty because it's literally this jar's ancient and about to kick. Apple Barrel Black. I'm just using that as a primer on this thing. What is it? I have no idea. Some type of container. Background fodder. Terrain. Gaming terrain. World building terrain. These little semicircles. I'm over here painting, realizing you can't see. These semicircles are from the dollar store. They're like craft half beads, I guess. And I just pulled the stupid sticky backing off of all of them and super glued them in place. So it looks like this is bolted on. Because again, this could be tabletop gaming terrain, this could be world building terrain, background for photographs, you know, maybe set something up in the foreground, a couple of pieces so you establish you're in a rusty area, you're peeking past somebody. Not much of a photographer anymore, but I do know a thing or two about staging a photograph. I'm just not as experienced as somebody like that Dead Man character there who's washing his balls in the shower right now. I should have Mod Podged this first. It just occurred to me. But I didn't. And that's okay. But yeah, when you're working with soft cardboard like that, I'm just saying, you're a better photographer than I am. You're a good photographer. A lot of people out there could look to you to learn a thing or two. Whereas me is I could talk the talk, but I ain't walked the walk in years, baby. Ugh. Look at that, the symbiote's in here. Dry. It's double-ended. So you pick this end, you have the bottom. Pick this, you have the, never mind. But yeah, double-ended. And that's where I put that, I wound up putting that panel right there, by the way. We've got some greeblies on here that need to be painted, and I'm going to put some strings in there and wires. Took a lot of practice to get where you are and many years coming up to get where you want to be. Yeah, that's solid advice. That's a solid statement. Practice makes progress. Don't let it make you perfect. In the words of Tyler Durden, fuck being perfect. Let the chips fall where they may. I need to watch that again. I haven't watched Fight Club in ages. Okay, let's let that dry. Famine, you'd think you would take the time to like prime this stuff ahead of your stream. To which I say, no, I wouldn't do that. That's why I'm doing it here. So, you would think wrong. Somebody down the hill behind my house at the, I guess the municipal building for like plow trucks and stuff that we have. Somebody's down there using a circular saw, or they're stealing catalytic converters right now. I don't know. They're running a grinder and a chop saw down there. I can hear it. And it does sound like they're cutting metal, so who knows? If I see on the news tomorrow somebody was cutting up catalytic converters, no, I didn't. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. Not my catalytic converter, not my problem. They should have security cameras, but I can hear it. All right. So, I am going to blast this one time. I'm going to blast this one time with the hairdryer. So, with the auditory amount of muting this. Hey, Sarah. Making a dune buggy. Now, they're probably making a war wagon out of the back of a Toyota pickup truck. Or they're making the killdozer down there. Let me mute you guys so I don't blow out your eardrum. Nice, thank you. All right. So, I'm thinking we're going to keep the dark tones on the body. I'll do a lighter belly. Do a lighter belly down the tail about there. And then on the fin that's under his throat and on his neck and on his back, that almost paddle-like fin, I think we'll take a red, a dark translucent red. So I'll do a couple of paints of slaughter red on the, I guess, spines. And we'll make that like the standout part of it. So he's got a little bit of green on his face. I will carry that green down a little bit just because I like that almost like he's mossy. So he can rest his head in the water and float, or, in a disgusting puddle in the middle of the junkyard and look like just swamp. But then you have this horrifying thing that comes out where he's got these red spikes down his back and looks like he's going to tear you to pieces. So that's where my head's at on that. So for the belly, I'm thinking, what kind of color do I want to do? I want it to be light. So I think I'll do like a leather brown. And just dry brush that. We'll start right there underneath the jaw. Bring it down. We'll work around that bit of the fin down to the belly to about right there. And then just feather that out. So we'll borrow that. So we'll keep that red out that I want to use, and we will also pull out peachy flesh, and we'll use the peachy flesh between the tines, the spikes on this guy. So, and brownish decay for around the mouth. All right, now I know where I'm at. This is how quickly sometimes my brain goes when I have an idea and I know I want to follow through on it. So I've got, this is saddle brown. This is a more red. This is actually more of a pink brown that I've learned. If I were to mix that with white to, like, say, make it lighter, closer to a tan, it would actually turn into a pink color. I don't want a pink color. So I think in order to stretch it a little bit and also change the color, I'm going to do a little bit of sand yellow in there just to mix it up, just to make it a little sexy. We'll see what it looks like. We can always fix it. We can always scrap that color entirely. But I think, yeah, that's what I want. It's like a few shades off of it's like a coffee with like one creamer in it. I get in on the brush. You guys know my dry brushing technique by now, and if you don't, well, you're getting a first-hand exposure to it, but I'm just going to work on this guy gradually here. A little bit on there. Take it off the brush. And it's nice that this model, this detail on here, there are some natural breaks in the sculpt that help me maintain the areas where I want the paint to go. And I'll just pull that color down there and work my way back up here. Way up. Trying to see if that's showing up on camera. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so we're lightening that up. Like I said, my dry brush method is just quite literally paint on there, take the goddamn paint off, sneak up on it. It's not a race. Don't have anywhere to be. You might have somewhere to be, but I don't. Except bed. I know I stream late. I know that. But them's the ropes when you're famming. Oh, a little too much there. A little too much there. Wait. Okay. It's starting to pick that color up nicely. That looks nice. It's a gradual shade, so we'll just keep doing this until I'm satisfied. Cool. Go a little bit harder up there on the face because that's where a lot of people focus. I don't mind that being the center of attention for this guy. So it's okay. We bring some of that color up. Cool. So that's what we're looking at there. Yeah. Digging that. Cool, cool. All right, so we've got our belly done. Undercolor. Now we're going to take our brush, we're going to clean that brush. We're going to come back. This dry brush is going to get used again. So we're going to clean it. Get that out of there. Get out of there, yo. So, got that going. So I want to do just trying to calculate in my brain how I want to do this. We're going to go with the peachy flesh. No, we're not going to do the peachy flesh. Thank famine. Yes. Give me this red here. Now this is a bright ass red. It's gonna look bright. It'll get toned down. It'll get subdued. That's the way I want to go right this second, though. If I can get any out of the container. That's one I've got to... Are you empty or are you just plugged? You're just plugged. So, unsqueeze my hole. Oh, whoa. Yeah, there was crap in there. Well, now I have plenty. Okay, so I'm going to use an angled makeup brush for this dry brushing. Stick with me. It's going to look bright. It's going to get taken down, though. Okay, start with the neck. Maybe it won't be bright. Maybe I'll sneak up on it. Get that on there. Almost like a turkey waddle. I can't even tell if that's... Yeah, that's showing up on camera. Good. Like I said, this will be a gradual sneak up on this color. And then we'll do the same up top. But I think this guy's going to look like a cross between a crocodile and a vulture. Okay. And for anybody that's new, that's just joined the channel, just checking out the stream, I'm not one of those people who's capable of keeping like their... Jason. Y'all talking about Fight Club? No, no, we don't talk about that. Peachy Flesh. Because the Peachy Flesh is... and hi, Russ, by the way. Great photographer. You should follow Point Blank After Dark on Instagram if you haven't already. The Peachy Flesh is transparent and has more yellow to the hue, so if I put that over the black, it would just get washed out by the rest of the reds, but I can utilize it afterwards to help make it pop. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I can't like it. Why can't I like it? It's my thing. I'm going to click the like, and I'm going to click the like. Click it. Thank you, thank you. So if I utilize the Peachy Flesh a little bit later, I can help subdue some of these higher, brighter colors and help make it look more naturally occurring and not like the color was slapped onto the critter. But as I was saying before I started rambling and then Sarah caught me off guard, I'm not one of those people that can like keep their canvas, whatever they're painting, and I do quite literally mean that, like if I'm canvas painting, I can't keep the goddamn thing straight and on the table. I have to pick it up, take it off the easel, move it around. Same with my models. I've always been that way. I've tried to keep it stationary, but it helps me see, number one. Number two, it helps me visualize the artwork better. And speaking of helping me see, y'all can laugh at me, right? Y'all can fucking laugh at me, but I'm now like Wentzilla. I'm one of these cool guys that uses this thing. I look like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys, but I'll be damned if it don't work. So if you see me using this, mind your business. No, you didn't. You laugh, you'll get old too. And this red is gonna be a nice, it already is a nice base for what I'm planning on doing with the other reds and the washes. Like, check that out, man. I think I like the, ooh, that's too much. I think I like the idea of the crocodile vulture cross because we have a lot of turkey vultures in my town. We always have had them. Across the street, there used to be this gigantic, huge tree. Came down in a hurricane. It had gotten hit by lightning. And yes, here in upstate New York, when we get our hurricanes, we also get lightning with them, because they often form thunderstorms and tornadoes. But anyway, the turkey vultures used to sit out in that tree across the street and open up their wings to dry them out in the sunshine when the sun came out. Or in the winter when it was cold, they'd go and sit in that tree and warm up in the sun. And it was always like this kind of awe-inspiring sight of looking outside and just seeing these massive birds with their red wattles underneath, just wings spread wide open, drying in the sunshine, just taking in, the sun to keep themselves warm. And if it was like during a storm and they were up there and the breeze was blowing and they're just kind of like wings open if they weren't flying, it was kind of scary, admittedly. And that image has always stuck in my head, and there's always turkey vultures around town. If there's ever roadkill or carrion, they're always about, and you see them, and they look kind of like chickens and turkeys when they're on the ground, but when they're in the sky, man, they look like a vulture. And it's low-key terrifying. So as I'm dry brushing, and I'm putting all this red on here, this almost transparent red, it's getting into all the recesses and all the pebbles, and I'll show you, I'll pull this close to the camera to show you guys the detail that these sculpts have. But it just makes it like really freaking nice for painting. Mattel know what they're doing as far as their sculpting department goes. Their marketing kind of sucks for Jurassic stuff. I think it's cool that they've started to involve creators in their advertising campaign for the Jurassic stuff, like people that do toy photography and custom work, but they're kind of leaning a lot on, that's a little heavy, they're kind of leaning a lot on these people that use Photoshop and all these things in their toy photography instead of practical, which that was one of the cool things about all the Jurassic marketing back when I was a kid, is that they used fake trees and stuff in there, and you could make that at home and use it. But like, let's see, what do we got here? We got a message. Turkeys and trees. Pittsburgh. Oh my God, yeah. You can't count that high. What are we doing? I have loops. Rick Moranis. We're intending on going to Pittsburgh, I think, at some point this summer. There's quite a few tiki bars and tropical bars out there that we'd like to try, and a couple of punk stores that we want to hit up. But yeah, so let's get that neck a little bit more. Just because we can. All right. So, like, I could leave that just like that and be like, bam, that's fucking cool, right? Seal that up, maybe dry brush. Be a little more gentler with this. I need to touch that up. But I'm not gonna. I want to take this couple more steps further. So I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I'm gonna mute the audio and blast this guy with some heat with the hairdryer. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Maybe I did shrink the kids. I don't know. Not my kids. I don't give a shit. So, let's see here. Bouncer at a tiki-themed nightclub. Which club was that? Carnegie Museum. I'll go to any museum, honestly. I love fucking museums. Alright, so now we are going to go with the Slaughter Red. And I'm going to use a detail brush for that. But I'm going to utilize this little plastic tray. Let's get a little of that red on there. Now, I'm going to pick these little proud spines that he's got in his, on his frills here, whatever we want to call this, fin. Cool. dropping flakes of paint off this brush. I think this brush is retiring after today. I think it's going to go to the great brush garbage disposal in the sky. But it just adds another layer of red. And it makes those sit up high in color, almost in their brightness, so that the nice deep red that's all over the fill, the fin, the frill, the fin, whatever we're calling this thing. I gotta pick a word to call it. Has. I think as it dries, it's going to look even more cool. Coconut Joe. I mean, I'd go to a place called Coconut Joe. I feel like I know somebody named Coconut Joe. And does Coconut Joe have any relation to Joe Camel? Like, I feel like Coconut Joe is the name of some asshole in the city, but he's kind of like that asshole that everybody loves. Like, oh, who the hell was that? It was just fucking Coconut Joe. Dude's an asshole. Everybody loves him, though. He gets his coffee every morning. He's got to have his coconut creamer. If he doesn't, he says his whole day's ruined. Gets almond joy bars. They got all that coconut in them. Fucking cocoa butter. Guy always smells like a goddamn tropical bar. But he's all right. But he's an asshole. Fucking Coconut Joe. Call it Coconut Hose. No, that's fair. Joe Camel aren't really, but they drink and smoke cigs together at the bar. Yeah, that's fair. I think I once saw Skywalker and Joe Camel together on a date, but can't confirm. Okay. I don't think I did the neck on this side, so we're going to do that real quick. Nice. Cool. Mud wrestling, wet t-shirt contest, and Kentucky wrestling sometimes. KY wrestling. Okay, that's all right. Yep. No, I'm caught up to speed now. I work with state abbreviations all day for all 50 states and DC. So, brain immediately went to states. Why did this place close, by the way? Because it sounds like a great time. Did Coconut Joe get busted for like money laundering, or did Joe Coconut die? Like I need more. Bought 3 tickets to Coconut Joe. Kid come to my door today, wanted a ticket for Cow Plop Bingo. What the fuck? Owner sold it. Ah, well. You know. Fucking Coconut Joe. All we have now is stories. R.I.P. Coconut Joe. Now, I'm just dragging the red along the crease at the bottom where the spines kind of connect to the fleshy bits of the meat of the critter. And when we do that wash with the peachy flesh, that's going to help combine those two and help blend the reds with the browns below it. Give it a little more character. Just a little more. Cow Plop Bingo. And just children show up at your house and offer to, like, hey, buy money. Or give us money and this cow's gonna shit. Because that's a great racket. That's insane. I love it. Jason, take notes for the dogs for the backyard. We could absolutely put a grid out there and start charging for the dogs to shit. Hey, if we have any, like, historians in the chat, what stage of capitalism is that where cow poop is gambled on? Also, do y'all out the Johnstown way, do you have cable TV or satellite TV? Like, is there just nothing for you guys to... I'm beside myself right now thinking about the cow shitting bingo. It's been going on since you were a kid. That's incredible. That's like... I'm trying to think of... I guess we have like the greased watermelon contest around here, but a lot of places do that. Quite literally what it sounds like. They coat watermelons in Crisco, and then they throw them in a lake, and everybody goes in the lake, and you try, and whoever exits the lake with the watermelon wins. I won that one time I did it. There we go. Cool. Greased pig. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. Now I'm going to use this red, since it's closer to a wash than it is a paint. And I'm just going to pick out some of the pebbles on this guy's skin. And that's just a fun way to bring some color into his body without going bananas on it. And then we're going to fix the arms, because I certainly need some red on these arms. This is mind-blowing to me. Crappy town, bushwhacker days. Come here and burnt the crap hole. It's the ground during Civil War. Nice. Between Escape from New York and Fallout. Trap music and painting dinosaurs, talking about fucking cow bingo. Cow shit bingo. This is how Tuesdays were meant to be spent. Says so in the Bible. Where does it say that in the Bible? Page 3. Shut up, nerd. Donkey baseball, Indian days, until we put feathers in your head. Jesus Christ. Fucking come along to Cultural Appropriation Day. We had learned a square dance when I was in school, and I'm still mad that that's a thing. Or that was a thing. Excuse me. Like, they really did tell us, like, hey, square dance. Grab your partner, do-si-do, and all that shit. Like, quite literally. Yeah. I think that was actually like a political thing, like a politician made that happen. just like the physical fitness test, the presidential physical fitness test that we had to do. I think this, I'm like almost certain the square dancing thing was a political, like, we need to get these kids square dancing. Hooah. Cool. Like, I'm almost certain some Republican asshole somewhere is responsible for that. Ballroom dance lessons. Tango. Heading out to lunch. Jam along. Have a good lunch. Yeah, I'm not sure why. I did learn basic I mean, my grandfather was a master carpenter and a contractor, so I got to learn at home, but we did do carpentry in home ec technology class. So we did get that. I did get the carpentry. That's actually where I made a lot of money in middle school, was in technology, because I was helping people with their shelves, and then also mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Huh. Like a fucking sleeper agent, Bjorn. Don't do that. Did that, and also helped people with their shelves when they were building their shelves. And I also used a lathe to make lightsaber hilts when episode 1 came out. And I was selling those motherfuckers like hotcakes. And then one day, teacher found out, caught wind, ruined that for me. Jackass. I was painting them too. I had a good racket going. So let's do nails. And then we're going to do that peach flesh. I want to let this dry. Let me blast this first. I'm going to mute you guys 1 second. The Hamilton Beach 1500 commercial from a hotel somewhere, probably. So this is what we're working with so far. Liking how this critter's coming out. Want to do the nails, then I want to fix the shoulders, then I want to do my final wash. Then I'm going to heat blast that, cure that up, and then I'm going to do a quick dry brush of a really, like, light sandy brown, just in certain areas where he would kind of be dirty. But it'll also help pop, help make him pop and stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to call him good. So let's do nails. That's what I want to do. Let me clean that brush too. that shit out of there. Get that red paint out of that goddamn brush. And then nails. We'll use the good stuff for the nails. We'll use the good model paint. You know, I thought about putting a collar around him, just because it would look funny. You know, like a collar and a tag dangling off this dude like he was fucking Scooby-Doo. That may be something I do a little further down the line. Sorry. I'm over here painting where you guys can't see because instead of wearing my glasses like a nerd, I'm doing it this way. But I kind of do think that would be funny, like a collar, and it says something like Spike or Spot. Or Doug. An idea I had was to make a twin, because I have two of these. Make a matching twin, but have one of them, in lore-wise, be like, man, some days that thing's nice as can be, other days that thing's a real asshole. I try not to get too close to it. It turns out it's actually two separate critters. Alright, we're gonna try this. I have this, like, insane Sharpie Pro that's meant to, like... That's what I'm saying. Cloverfield's great. Lathed. But it's, like, supposed to be this super mega Sharpie. Somebody used that on the shoulder joint. We'll see if that doesn't hold up. And if it doesn't, well, goddammit, it's a toy. All right, what can I say? Ooh, that stinks. That's good. That's how you know it's working. When it smells horrible. Might not be 12 inches long, but it sure does smell like a foot. Yeah, it's Sharpie Pro. Marks on wet and oily surfaces. Permanent. Fine tip. Kaiju crawler. It's my boy. I'd love the Hasbro Cloverfield toy, but I can't justify the grand because they only made like 300 or 400 of them. Like they made much. What's the sentence I want to say? They made far fewer of them than they did. It looks like Cloverfield. Quite literally big, white, articulated. Empire Toy Works posts pictures. He posted one last week with it. Alright, so I got my peachy flesh here. Get that crap off of there. Get off of there. Okay. Cap, cap, cap. That's the one. Bless you, Snowflake. You got the sniffles? Or are you just sneezing because you're burying your face in your fur? Now I'm just doing a quick kind of wash with the peachy flesh on here. And I'm letting it closer to the bottom of the frill. Favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie? Split. Should I know what Jason Crane or who Jason Crane is? Is he related to Niles? Now I'm just hitting the lighter, tap, tap, tap up top on the higher points. Is he related to Frasier? Sleepy Hollow books, like the Headless Hessian Sleepy Hollow? Like 100 miles away from me, Sleepy Hollow? Because I live in the goddamn state where the book takes place, Sleepy Hollow? Unbreakable was my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, by the way, Sarah, until Split came out, and was fucking tremendous. I actually have on my Instagram and on my Facebook some photos. We went to the comic store that Mr. Glass ran. The owner was super cool. Talked about it a while back. Okay, we aren't friends anymore. It's The Village. I do like The Village. I like the not even the like. I like the twist of the movie. Spoiler alert about it being a modern day setting, but the shift in tone of the main character going from Joaquin to Bryce Dallas Howard, who I would have all her babies and then sell them on the black market. She's perfect. Put a little of that wash in those. There. Some of that wash around his eyes, on his face a little bit, because why not? Alright, I'm going to blast this with heat one more time, then we're going to do that dry brush I talked about, and then we're going to call it good. Do you need some peachy flesh on your tongue? He's going to get some peachy flesh on his tongue. God, that sounded so sexual. I love it. You want some peachy flesh on your tongue? Say, ah. Ooh, ooh. The fuck did Adam walk into? I liked Lady in the Water. I haven't seen the new one. With Josh Hartnett, was it? The one where where M. Night Shyamalan's daughter is a pop star. I haven't seen that one yet. Trap. Not Trapped. Trapped is a mediocre band. Okay, so now I have to come up with what color I want to dry brush this guy in. Have not seen that one yet. But Unbreakable was my favorite, then it was Split. Glass I did enjoy, it's just not in my favorites of his. Signs horrifies me. I tell you, I know he wasn't directly related to that film, but somehow I wound up learning about it through him. Was Cabin at the End of the World. That looked really good with Batista. I'd like to watch that. I still have not. I know it was based on a book, which I haven't read yet. I'm one of those weirdos that likes to do the reading. Yeah, all right. So we'll go with dark brown. Maybe they are. Maybe that's why the mother had to die, in order to let their illicit love affair take place. Until it became a meme. What a twist! Sixth Sense was actually ruined for me in school, like the day after it came out. Some kid just stood up in the lunchroom and yelled out the big plot spoiler. Seeing dead people completely ruined the film for me. So it was years before I actually sat down and watched it. And like, if you didn't know, boy, was that excellently executed. Like, if Bret Hart was making movies, that would be it. The excellence of execution right there. All right, so I've got this dry brush with the brown. Let's bring it down. I'm just going to do across his knuckles here, on the backs of his arms, this little gilla skin here. That just makes it stand out a little bit more. Get the shoulder. And same with this goes. Just a little bit on the front of his legs. A little bit on his feet. And then since his sniffer snoot would be rooting around, just a little bit of dry brushing on there. Get a little more on there. Because it's my dinosaur and I want a little more on there. So I'll put some more on there. And in case anybody who comes back and asks and watched the stream and asks, yes, I am one of those people that was completely fine with the ending of Glass. Dewclaw will pop that. Pop that Dewclaw, girl. All right. I am happy with this guy. Up here. Just a ferocious turkey vulture fucking alligator creature. Just mad as hell. I'll take some better pictures of him in the daylight when he's dry. I will spray him with Mr. Hobby Super Clear just to matte that out. So let's do this now. I can put some more black on those rivets and then put some more rusty color on there. Vallejo. Peachy Flesh is made by Army Painters Speed Paint. I can actually, you know what I can do is I can show you guys you shut up, you whore. The original and a la Famine. I might paint the eyes yellow. Now they kiss. Stop it, Famine. So let's use up some of that black, you know, that nice good black war paints that we used. For these rivets. Just because that'll help paint adhere to them a little better than that craft paint. That's my one. The pigmentation isn't heavy enough for adhesion on smoother things. And yeah, I could have sanded those down, and yes, I should have, but I didn't, and now I have to pay for it by using my more expensive paint. What did you learn from your paint crimes, Famine? Always do the diligence first, sir. Correct. 20 lashings. Harder. What? Okay, we'll let those dry and then I'll paint those. Like I said, I'm going to tuck some wires in here and then tuck them behind there just to have like a wired panel. I don't know what this does. Again, just scenery, decor. I just work here, man. I just work here. No, the saw is still in the garage. It's very high on a shelf and it's hard for me to get to. But it is here. Gunmetal. We'll goes with the all my pints of gunmetal. Real quick, let me blast that. There we go. Just shitty and metallic, which is what we want, because I do my metal in layers. Because if I don't, I just find that it doesn't look right. I find that it does not look as metallic as it could be. Couldn't be as convincing for me. I said to my friend Mary Sue Ann, I said, Mary Sue Ann, you go out there and you look at that metal there, and you tell me how many colors you think you see. She says, Gloria, I see all of it. I said, Mary Sue Ann, you want them mushrooms again? And she goes, maybe. I don't know where these things come from. And then we go up to nickel instead of gunmetal. Or what is it? Plate metal. Excuse me, which is close to nickel. Plate mail metal. Same line. And I'm just adding that in different scratches and scritches across the metal disc on the top, avoiding the rivets because I want them to have that gunmetal to look like almost like they're put on there, and they are a different metal. See, now it starts to get gross and multi? That's not the word I'm looking for. Mottled? Mottled. Metal looks mottled. There we go. Cool. Get the last of that off there. Now, for our feature presentation. Sleeping ass animals over there. We got a cat asleep, 3 dogs. One of them's made a nest out of my blanket. Earlier, Stark pulled my blanket clean off of me, curled himself up in it. I guess he needed it more than I did, which is fine. But he could have asked. Okay. And now this is shining silver. this is the one that I'll use around the edge, just because it'll make that edge pop a little bit more. Once you pop, the fun don't stop. Some weird ass metal. That's how you do weird metal, kids. Could take it further and rust around the rivets. I'm not gonna right this minute, but I could, maybe in the future. And then again, I just hit those with a little silver and gunmetal. Give that some character. Like I said, I'm gonna feed wires and stuff in here, so that's full. But I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. It is getting late for me. I do have work in the morning, so I'm gonna call it here. I'll probably be doing another live stream later in the week. Fridays, I am on World Makers Consortium at 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Rad Toys channel. And then I will be streaming Friday night, barring anything important coming up. So, I thank you guys for joining me. Thank you again for the Super Chats. Everybody who's new that's subscribed to the channel, everybody dropping comments, I appreciate you. If you have anything, hit me up on Instagram. Shoot me a message there. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoy your night. Follow me on Patreon. There is a free tier, so sign up for that. Patreon.com/FaminStudiosX. Get my shirts on TeePublic under the same name. ko-fi.com, Famine Studios X, and also over on the Instagram. Be well, guys. Too sweet me.